Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Should know this one by heart. Rules of procedure adopted annually to ensure a productive meeting. The select board meetings are in the public, not of the public, meaning the members of the public in attendance are entitled to the opportunity to comment. But the purpose of the meeting is for the board to be able to effectively and efficiently conduct the necessary business to govern the town. All questions and comments are to be directed to the chair, and the rules of procedure indicate that there will be 2 minutes allotted for comment on from any single person on any single topic. Rules of procedure are posted in the town hall and available for everyone to review.
Sorry, the glare combined with my wrong prescription is making quite the combination. Let's see. All right. So, welcome everybody. We have Bob Jones, Mike Beecher, Jessica Van Hort, and Tom Collar here as members present. I'm Kristen Powers, and I've got everybody else signed in who's here. Hello. And friendly reminder, so Mike Beecher is our chair, so if you have any comments or questions, please direct them towards Mike. I've got everybody online. If anybody sees anybody else that comes in online, feel free to just let me know. So we have a couple of additions tonight. So I did send out an updated agenda yesterday, but for anybody that didn't see that, under new business, we have 2 additions. There's a discussion on the library board vacancy, and then also a discussion on the municipal ethics liaison. And under old or unfinished business, we have to, as the board has to address the termination letter for the municipal project management manager for the pedestrian accessibility grant that was discussed at our last meeting. Does anybody else have any additions or deletions? So the minutes that are in need of approval tonight are from our last regular meeting, which was on December 10th, and there was just one edit. I had written that there was no health officer's report. There was a health officer's report, there was just nothing to report, so I just clarified that in the minutes. But other than that, the minutes as printed need approval.
I'll move that we approve those minutes, and someone is waiting. Thank you.
I'll second them.
Thanks.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any announcements?
I don't think so, not for me.
Zoning administrator.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New
So we
Year.
ended with 34 permits for the year. Encouraged that 3 of them were actually for new builds in town, which we haven't seen in a while. We ended up with 14 short-term rental registrations, and the grant application for the tree removal was submitted. I was notified back that we should hear something by the 2nd week in February. I did apply for a full $20,000, but told them that we would take anything they're willing to give us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have to report.
Good. Anybody have any questions for Nancy? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Planning Commission.
Not this meeting.
Not this meeting, right. Road foreman?
Nothing at this meeting, no report from Damon. There have been some emails that have been coming through about grant items that need to be attended to. I'm planning to meet with Julie next week because the Highway Safety Improvement Grant, which was for the North Pawlet Road improvements, that work period was completed at the end of December, so all the work is done for that. The only thing that wasn't able to happen on that was the painting. We had originally thought about painting on the road, like stop ahead, but Damon had made some attempts to reach out to the outfit that did that and was not successful in getting anybody to return any inquiries. So I believe that we should still be in good shape though, with all the work that was done in terms of the money that we got for that. It was a zero match grant, so I will be working with Julie on that. And other than that, no new business to report there.
Anybody have any questions or anything regarding the roads? Okay. Assessors?
Oh, Tom has.
Tom?
Oh wait, so sorry. Time out. I forgot about this. This, everyone, is the remote control, the microphone for PEG TV. You won't hear yourself talk in it, but it does help to make the people watching PEG TV hear you, so.
It's a talking stick.
It's a talking stick. It's the talking stick.
I've been conducting more patrols down by Tom's house, and I was just curious if we can get that 50-mile-an-hour sign put back up where it turns 30 to 50 coming out of the village.
Yeah.
That's my only concern.
Can you reach out to
Still
them?
me?
Or one of you guys?
What's that like?
I'm kidding. That Bob said he'll reach out to Damon and talk to him about that.
What about the reduction on 30 coming in? That
Yeah,
needs to be done up too, right?
yeah, I think you still have to have a survey done, right, by the state. There should be a survey conducted by the state. You're talking in front of the school?
No,
Okay.
in front of my house, where that sign was, is
There's a-
reduced to 30.
There is a 30 past that, but there should be one before it, right? Yeah.
There was a sign there that said you had to reduce.
Slow down ahead. Yeah, that should also be installed.
30 state has to do it.
It's on 150.
153.
It's
yeah,
on 153.
30 is the speed limit.
Speed.
Oh.
So if you're going from 50 to 30, you have to have a sign
Yeah,
that says.
I don't know what the
speed ahead or
distance
something,
is
right?
before it, but there should be
you
a
have to have a
sign.
warning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, to make it legal, so.
They should
I
at
guess
least address that and the 50 going the other way as well.
Damon can look into that. Okay, thank you. Town clerk's memo. Deb?
Yep, that was quick. Happy New Year for me also. I just want to remind anyone who has petitions for being a candidate on the ballot, they are due on the, what did I put there?
16.
The 27th of January. Article petitions are due on the 16th of January. For candidate petitions, you need 1% of the registered voters. And for article petitions, sorry, I thought I had put my video. They need 5% of the registered voters. We currently have 1,206 registered voters. The town report is coming together. Waiting on reports from folks, and but there's no reason to believe that we're not going to be on time with that. There is a facilities use agreement with you, Mike, that needs to be signed, and that's for the use of the multi-purpose room for our pre-town meeting on the 3rd of March. There's also with Kristen a certificate of highway mileage that needs to be signed, and I think there's also a place for me to sign on that as well, so that can just be left on my desk. I think I also left with you, Mike, the copy of the Rutland County budget. I think that's just an FYI, and I didn't know if you as a board had gotten it as well. And that's all that I have.
Anybody have any other questions for Deb?
Unless anybody has any questions for me.
Are we all in favor of signing the facilities agreement for the use of the Meadowy School for the
Yeah.
town meeting?
I really can't hear anything, but I almost think, did you say something?
Yeah,
me?
I'm going to,
No,
I can't hear anything either.
there has been nothing to be heard.
Excellent.
Okay. Nothing was said. Okay, so the Medway School District facilities agreement is all signed up in the 2 spots that you have highlighted. And anything else?
Could you hear that?
Do you guys hear that all right or not?
Guess not. Maybe they're not hearing.
I'm thinking no.
Huh, hold on.
Sign language.
Sheriff's budget is at 129.
Input level, high.
Just did fights on the other side.
Can you guys hear this at all?
County or overlap.
No?
Can they hear through the mic?
Like that.
The handheld mics.
Yeah.
No, that's for Peg TV. Hello, Deb, Julie? Bueller? No? Okay. Now you're all staring at us.
We can do some signs.
She said no. She can't hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, the sound is gone.
Huh. Okay, well, hold on a sec.
Some kind of message popped up in the right lower corner.
Yeah, Julie's just saying that we're staring at her.
No, but I mean
Participants
before.
may
I think it
on
was
the
just
select
What
board.
about now?
It wasn't. Yeah, I saw it.
Me
Hello?
too.
Hello?
Woo, I heard that.
All right.
That's audible.
Very good. Okay. Deb, Mike signed the agreement. I'll leave it on your desk.
Thank you.
Who knows what happened?
Such a tech whiz.
Turn it off and on again.
Just unplug it and plug it back in. Okay. What about the mileage certificate?
Bob's gonna sign
I
that.
have that. It looks to be unchanged, so.
Everybody okay with Bob signing that?
Yeah, go ahead and sign.
Well, we all can if we want. There's plenty of room. There's spaces for everyone.
Okay.
Pass it on, yeah.
Right.
Good evening, Julie.
Hello. I have 2 warrants this week. Payroll is $10,353.99. Accounts payable is $32,495.30. A breakdown of that is general fund 17,618.39, highway 17,477.05, wastewater $253.85, and reappraisal fund $7,500. We did in December receive the reimbursement for the School Street Bridge grant for $200,000. And we also in December received another gift of securities from a donor, and that's to be earmarked for the new garage. And that was valued at $98,157. We also have other investments in that wealth management account that have matured or are about to mature in the next 2 weeks. So with all of that combined, there's about $500,000 that we need to make decisions on reinvesting. Our portfolio manager recommended that we take a good look at our timeline for the projects that we want to work on and try to invest so that we can match maturity with cash flow needs. obviously, I don't think that you guys are gonna be necessarily ready to do that tonight, but I want you to think about that and be prepared to make a decision, at your next meeting. I have a range of, terms and, APR percentages, but that will vary, depending on, when a decision is made. But basically, we're in the 4-ish% range for investments, and there's anticipated market volatility at this point. So I was thinking we should really be realistic and dial in on what our actual timing is going to be for needing these monies, so that we can invest as long-term as we possibly can in order to maximize our investment possibilities. I don't know if you want to ask me any specific questions to ask the portfolio manager, or if you have any ideas on your project timing. I know part of the capital projects funds was a wastewater project, and then the town garage. We have in that wealth management account currently $564,727. About 10% of that is reappraisal fund, about 10% is landfill, and then eventually the rest of it will be capital maintenance, because we are going to ask for what am I trying to say here? Most of it already is capital maintenance, because some of it was ARPA funds, which we have done the process of transferring around, but haven't all the way put into capital maintenance fund.
And a good portion of that capital maintenance fund is earmarked for a garage, correct?
Well, it's actually, so it's capital projects fund, and it's a portion of that is earmarked for a garage, but the rest of that is stuff that you have set aside, and so it's sort of there for the maintenance of everything.
But
Maintenance and construction.
But this donation, there's been other donations that were earmarked for the garage, so that's all called, each one of those donations are all called out separately, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, they're considered assigned.
Okay, thank you. Frank?
Julie, I was wondering what,
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
He's a talking stick. We're all paying attention.
I'm rusty. It's been a month.
you mentioned that they said something about market volatility. Did they explain that a little bit further? Preface is that supposedly Warren Buffett has gone from liquidated his holdings to cash, according to Ed
Frank,
Dowd.
that's not really relative.
No, you don't want to
Not
lose
for
money.
this.
You don't want to
We're
lose
not
money.
at that point in this conversation with the bank right now. It's just
No, but I was just wondering if T-bills would be an option.
that's why we have an investment manager at the bank that will guide us more. As we get closer to that, then we'll understand better what our decision
I'll
should be.
point out that, in fact, in Julie's memo, she said our portfolio manager recommends we continue to look at treasury bills, which is T-bills. So, which is what we have been investing in over the last year. It's just sort of the length of time that we want to put in.
Our time frame.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good deal.
I'd
That is
like
correct,
to,
yeah.
I'd like to suggest that as we think about our investments in the way that Julie is talking about, that we maybe also see if we can come up with a tentative timeline for some of our, when do we want to try to build the garage? In 2 years, 3 years, just so that we can also, it would be good to, I don't have a clear sense, I know that, of when we're going to need to next buy a new vehicle. So if we could, maybe Damon can help us with this, but get the list of the vehicles and when they were purchased, and if Julie could help us with how much is still owed on them and how long the loans are for, just so we can kind of say, this is when we're going to need the money. I think just having that all in like a spreadsheet that we could all look at and easily understand might be good. Because I don't have it in my head at all. How soon we're gonna need to buy different trucks, you know?
And I don't know what the history was, so a spreadsheet would be
The highway
helpful
plow
to me.
trucks, or historically, we've been trying to buy a new one every 5 years.
Mhm.
So we just bought one last year, so in 4 years, we'll be looking at another 250,000+. So, and the other equipment, we've just been watching and,
Replacing as needed.
yeah, we need to start to forecast that. And I think
Yeah.
that's a very good idea. We've talked about it before, but never seemed to pull it
Yeah.
off.
And the other thing that I don't know off the top of my head is how long we're still paying off on the wastewater. Like, is that 10 more years? I don't know that off the, I,
20 or no?
yeah, it would be nice to have all that information in one place so we could kind of look at it.
Probably, that's probably 10 more
But
years.
I might try to work with Julie to pull together some of that information, because I think it would be helpful.
So, anybody
Yeah,
want?
so I guess I think maybe between the rest of this week and the beginning of next week, I can get together with Damon and I can pull what I have, and Jessica, you can touch base with me and you can just make sure that I'm answering all of the questions that we have, and then I can email that out to all of you. And then if you could come ready with a timeline of projects that you think is realistic for the next meeting, we would have all of the information that we need at that time to make this decision and get this finalized then.
Sounds good.
Is that a time frame that works for you guys?
Yeah, I'll also have to contact the people who we're working with on the wastewater plan to see about when they think we would be applying for a big grant for that. Is it like, again, I don't know, is that a year, 2 years out? But yeah, I'll contact them.
Okay. And then the other thing that I did not write down on my memo that I've left in front of you was I was hoping to get the numbers for appropriations that will end up being a part of the warning. But I would like to have them to prepare my reports. So to refresh everybody's memory, we have capital projects, equipment, wastewater, and reappraisal that we have historically appropriated monies into. And last year it was 17,000 for capital projects, 33 for equipment, 20 for wastewater, and 8 for reappraisal.
Can you give us those numbers again, Julie, real quick?
Capital projects last year was 17,000.
Mm-hmm.
Equipment was 33,000. Wastewater was 20,000. Reappraisal was 8. As part of the budget packet for the assessor's office, they mentioned that over the next 2 years, they needed another $22,000 to go into the reappraisal fund in order to cover the full cost of the reappraisal. And they said that they would recommend doing 15 this year and 7 next year, because they'll need the bulk of it before next year.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
Do we need to decide on those tonight, Julie?
I was hoping you could, but I will make it work if you can't.
Because we should consider putting some money toward a garage too.
Yeah, and that would be under capital. So that was 17 last year. We would definitely want to significantly increase that if we want to put more toward the garage. And I don't know if 33 remains what we want for equipment,
Right.
or if that needs to go up as well.
We'd have to include Damon in that conversation, right?
I think so. Yeah, we need to definitely look that over. Because the only, other than trucks, the only new piece of equipment we bought since I've been on the board is the backhoe. So that puts everything
tractor.
over 15
too.
years. And the tractor. But the grader and the loader haven't been upgraded in 15 years. Over 15 years. So.
I mean, if we do have to make reappraisal jump significantly, and we're gonna have to make the capital budget jump for the garage, I mean, it would probably be best if we can not severely bump up either equipment or wastewater this year, because that would be a hardship for people.
Absolutely.
But you might be able to, once you have your realistic purchase/investment timeline, realistically, if the town garage isn't going to be built for another 3 years,
Right.
it might be, but you find that you need a grader within the next year
Mhm.
or so, you might be
Yeah.
able
I
to
think
determine what she's gonna
we're
charge.
definitely not prepared to do this tonight, Julie, but we will be prepared to do it at the next meeting. We have to have that more realistic timelines and equipment, all laid out a little bit better and stuff, so. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
yep, so we just need to act on the payroll and accounts payroll warrants.
I move that we approve payroll warrant 25041 and accounts payable warrant 25042.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any more questions for Julie? Thank you, Julie. Have a good night.
You bet.
Emergency management?
So Bob emailed a report over, and Adirondack Two-Way Radio has reprogrammed the town repeater with the new frequency, as well as all of the fire apparatus and portables in the town, including the highway department radios and the town's EOC, and the batteries for the repeater were also replaced. So we're back online.
They resolved their problem.
Resolved that issue. And Jennifer Sullivan submitted a health, while I'm going, I'll just keep
Yeah,
rolling.
keep rolling.
Jennifer Sullivan submitted a health officer's report digitally, and there were 2 animal bites, 1 dog, 1 cat, that were reported both in West Pawlet.
Facilities reports.
Wastewater?
Yeah, I looked right over it. As far as I know, nothing, and I talked to Jill today, and we went over just a few things that are outstanding from a while. We're looking at some options to get those corrected, but basically everything is working pretty well down there. The help is working out very well. And I talked to her a little bit about about this grant process and the meetings and stuff, and she said that she's very, very excited about the engineer that we have from Holt Tanner. She said she's super high quality, and she said I couldn't be happier to have her doing this process. She's right on it. She's looking everything over very thoroughly and carefully and coming up with the best option. And so that's really good positive news. And other than that, it seems to be
So
okay.
good.
And now facilities. Is there anything under facilities? Nothing. How about you guys? Nothing? Library's all good? Okay, good. Meadowy School Board?
Julie.
I have one, let me pop this up. Let's see. Our school board report from January 2025, Meadowy School Board of Directors has been actively engaged in seeking, this is the wrong one. My bad, everybody. Hold on. At our regular meeting on January 6th, held at the Pawlet Town Hall, the board approved the fiscal year 26 budget of $6,933,338 after engaging in monthly budget meetings in October, November, and December. We also approved the warning language and a tuition rate for Meadowy of $25,300. The board continued planning for a community engagement and survey with graduates of Meadowy. We plan to hold this event in the spring. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for February 10th at 6:30 on Google Meet and at the Meadowee Community School. And that's all.
All right. Any questions? Thank you for that, Julie.
You bet.
Older unfinished special officer report. So I circulated an email from our lawyer that they couldn't see anything. The only thing that Merrill had was the question of temporary. And that was her only thing. So we have to just watch and see how it works out and go from there. And I think in lieu of recent events, it's a good thing to have right now anyways. So, anybody want to have any more comment on that, or?
Well, I was just gonna say, are we hiring, or maybe not hiring, but entering into this contract with the idea that should we end up with another town constable who gets elected at some point who has the necessary experience, that we then wouldn't need the special officer, or would we still need the special officer? That's the bit I didn't quite.
How would you explain that?
Yeah, you'll have to rephrase that.
Oh, I was gonna say so right now we've got one town constable who is active.
Just flip it on.
And one who is not as active. But if we were to get a second town constable at some point who ran for office and then had the necessary credentials and was going to be very active, at that point, would we keep the special officer as well? Or would we just go with the 2 town constables? That's kind of my question.
Okay. Some of my reasoning to want Bill here is that he's a level 3 certified officer. So he can handle certain cases that level 2 officers can't. So if we run into that situation, he can handle those things. That's why I want him on board. I don't know how active he's going to be, and I certainly don't know who we're going to get the next round. So that's why it's temporary. You guys can make that decision if you want to keep him. But for the most part, it would lighten the load on me a little bit. And it's also nice to have some backup as well.
So by doing this, in essence, we're authorizing you, so when you get a situation you need backup, he would be allowed to come and assist you.
Right.
Everything would be in order for his assistance,
Yep.
but it's not like he's gonna be down here out on patrol and stuff like that.
He certainly could be.
But not as
Not as
like
an
a 20-hour a week
right.
type of deal. It would be
No,
more
that's
of
why he
an
has
on-call type of situation.
That's why we have a limited, I proposed a limited amount of funding for him.
Right,
So, which is, I think $1,000, I think we
right.
suggested. So he would be limited to that budget, so.
And the biggest benefit is because of his level of certification, he would be able to help out a lot
Yes.
more than,
Yep, certainly.
And so
Okay.
the temporary would be until circumstances change and we need to revisit it, would be the
Certainly.
definition
Basically,
of the
right.
temporary. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
anybody else have any questions? So how do we feel? So Bob just made a motion that we approve the special officer position for Bill Humphrey, right?
So the appointment of, is that the correct wording? Appointment?
Appointment.
Okay.
And I would second that, Mike.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you for doing all the legwork and stuff like that to help this process.
Much appreciated.
So I have one question. Will Bill need to come in and meet with Julie?
Yes.
What are the next steps on that?
Let's meet with Julie and
And
Deb.
Deb, okay. Perfect.
Any other old or unfinished business?
Yeah, we need to sign this letter to Stephanie Bork from Rutland Regional Planning Commission telling her that we need to terminate her services as project manager as of the last day of December. And this just asks her to send any remaining invoices, which I believe she's already done.
Okay.
I don't think we need to vote on this
Because we already
because we
voted
already
on it.
voted to not go ahead, but if you'll just sign that, Mike, I can get that to her. She needs it for her paperwork.
Did she come back with a dollar amount?
What was that?
Did she come back with a dollar amount of what we got
How much we got in it?
into it? Is that her department or?
She has submitted the final invoices from herself and from the engineers to Julie. So once those are paid, we can probably get a final amount. And then at some point, I have not yet heard from V-Trans about what they want us to do to close out the grant, since we're not going any further with it. It's going to be on Peter Pochop from V-Trans to let us know about that. And I haven't heard a thing from him. It has been the holidays, so it will probably then be on me to do whatever he needs to close it out, since we don't have Stephanie's help anymore. But hopefully it won't be too much work.
Okay. Any other old or unfinished business? New business. Library vacancy.
Hi, it's Julie, I'm sorry.
Hi, Julie.
I was hoping, I don't know if this is the appropriate spot to say, but I was hoping under new business would be the appropriate spot. I would like for you guys to add to your agenda to discuss the possibility of using some of the ARPA funds that aren't going to be used on that sidewalk project to pay for the surveying of all of the town-owned land that isn't already surveyed. Because it was really disappointing to run into a problem with that project just because of confusion about ownership. And I think that this is an opportunity to use those funds so that this doesn't ever have to happen again in the future.
We have surveyed the lot where the new garage is going to be. And we are getting, the Regional Planning Commission is going to survey the wastewater, not the wastewater plot, but the one next to it.
Right.
But the other plots, town-owned plots, I don't know if they've been surveyed or not.
I don't believe so.
I believe the town garage property has been surveyed on all sides.
There was
Yeah.
one.
I have seen,
An
yeah, that
accumulation
one.
of like
This
3
one, yeah.
surveys.
And I would suspect that the stuff in West Pawlet at the landfill has been surveyed, but I don't know that.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty confident it has because of the work that was done down there on the closure, but we definitely should look into that.
So, that's a very good idea that we should consider putting that funds, but we need to do a little bit more legwork on that to find out what buildings what doesn't have a survey to go with it, what property
So
doesn't, and then get
I
some.
think that could be part of the project, right, is hiring somebody to come and do the search on whether or not there are surveys, and then do the rest of the surveys.
I wonder if we got someone to do multiple surveys, if they give us a survey discount.
Talk to
Bulk
Cody.
survey.
So,
Wasn't it Cody?
Cody did.
the-
So-
Cody did good work for us.
Yeah.
but to do several surveys like that, we probably would need to have a couple of quotes. I would feel better about than just choosing.
Yeah, didn't we get quotes for the survey? We got a couple quotes
We
for
got
the
a couple
survey, for the
quotes.
last one we did.
Quotes for the other survey.
Yeah, Deb might be able to answer some of that.
How, in the town records, I'll talk to you two ladies, what will we have to do? Look up each land record, and that would say whether there's a survey attached to the parcel or not?
Yeah, well, it might.
Oh, it might.
But we've also got the maps, and so we could look through the file with the maps, the survey maps that are there.
Okay.
See, just town property. I know there's a section in the card catalog, town property like that, and go through those cards and then look for the maps.
Okay.
Actually, do you want me to do that tomorrow?
It sounds like a great idea. Oh, we forgot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sue's gonna do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I can do that tomorrow.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you, Sue.
Sure.
Okay, so we got that's a good idea, Julie. Thank you for that information, and we'll get the ball rolling on that also.
Cool, thanks.
We got a lot of stuff going rolling. Okay. Library board.
I'd like to read a statement if that's okay.
Okay, yes, that's what I
I
was
guess
hoping
I'm gonna
for.
ask for the microphone.
Oh, gosh, sorry. Somebody else should take over this role of the mic talking
I mean,
stick.
clearly it should be me.
Yes, please. You've been nominated.
Good evening, everybody. As you're all aware, we have had a vacancy on the Pawlet Library Board of Trustees since November 27th, 2024. Our then chair, Harley Cudney, resigned without prior notice and without a succession plan, leaving the board with a critical vacancy. During our December 3rd meeting, we agreed in open meeting to advertise for people who are interested in filling this vacancy and ask them to write a letter of interest to the library board. By our December 17th meeting, we had received only one letter of interest from Sue Laporte. During this meeting, both Corey and I expressed our strong support for Sue to fill the vacancy. Sue has been to every meeting since I began attending in November of 2023. It's evident that Sue cares deeply about the well-being of the library. Sue brings a ton of experience to the table with an extensive background in board service. She has served on the Meadowy School Board, the BRSU Board, the Select Board, the Library Board, and still sits on the Board of Civil Authority. Sue also spent 10 years on the Dorset Nursing Association and Rutland Area Visiting Nurse Boards. In addition to Sue's board experience, Sue has been the recipient of several accolades for her career as a nurse, such as Awards in Excellence and Community Humanitarian of the Year. These accolades speak to her dedication, her ethical standards, and commitment to serving her community. Sue has a deep understanding of the history of our library as a fundamental resource in Pawlet's community. I am confident that Sue's knowledge, experience, and dedication will be invaluable as we work to rebuild and strengthen the Pawlet Library. Additionally, I believe that it's essential for us to have a full board in place in order to move forward effectively. The board's immediate priorities, in my opinion, to which I've been saying for almost a year now, are to establish evaluation practices, create job descriptions, and develop timekeeping methods for library employees. These are vital steps to take before we can even consider hiring a new director. For these reasons, I'm enthusiastically endorsing Sue Laporte to be appointed to the Pawlet Library Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Does the library board as a whole have a recommendation of Sue, or?
No. Oh, go ahead. No, you can. At our last meeting, we did discuss an executive session and came out and formally announced that Corey and I supported Sue's appointment, and Grace and Joni did not.
Okay.
So I think the meeting before that, Jessica had attended, and we had discussed that if that were the case, because it could have been anticipated that everyone could come forward today and present their findings. That's why I did mine individually.
Okay, Sue, and during the interim, we've received 2 other letters of interest, so.
Which we weren't able to discuss in open meeting, but I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I think for me it was relevant that Sue's been at every meeting, and she's been well vested in this whole process and all that's occurred. But that being said, it's exciting to have any additional letters of interest, and so the library going forward is going to need, not to mention we have an election in March with 2 vacancies, but we're going to need volunteers, we're going to need people's energy, we're going to need help. There's a lot of work to do, and there's still problems to be solved.
Okay.
What I would be curious about is, I know Joni's here on video. The 2 people who are not in favor of Sue, what do they propose to the select board? That we not appoint someone, or that we appoint one of the other 2 people who has applied in the slightly later?
We weren't able to discuss that
Yeah.
in open meeting, so
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had just gotten to that too. Yeah.
Because I think that we do need to, I think that it's our obligation to appoint someone, even though it's only for a few months.
Right.
I don't think we can just, I was talking to Julie about this earlier today, that with the school board at least, they are, if there's an empty spot, they are legally obligated to fill it, and it was the same with us with the select
Right.
board. So I don't think we can leave it open till March.
Right. Frank?
Nonetheless,
Right.
I think that, oops.
Thank you.
Nonetheless, is it true that this is just solely the decision of the select board? Period?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whatever you want to do.
So, did everybody see the other letters of interest? I shared with everyone. So, what do we feel right now?
I think Sue would be a good candidate.
Okay. Are you making that in the form of a motion?
I can, absolutely, I make it in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Yeah, I'll second.
Any more discussion? Okay, yeah?
I was one of the letters. I'm Annie Nash.
Okay.
I am a lot less qualified in the sense that I haven't been on a board before. However, I'm very passionate about the local library, and I've been a part of many organizations supporting communities that I've been a part of, including the fire department, and I'm very involved in the Dorset Playhouse. And I don't really feel like competitive about this at all, but I do feel like I would be a major benefit to the library. I think that though I totally appreciate and I think it's very valuable to have someone that's been coming to meetings for a long period of time, I also think there might be something beneficial to having someone that's not been like as involved in the drama that's been going on for a long period of time. I have some knowledge of it, but I have an open mind, and I'm interested in learning and speaking to a lot of people involved to come at the problems that have been going on with a fresh idea. So whether or not it's now or whether in March, I'm interested in joining the board, and so I just wanted to put my name out there and say that. So.
Okay. So right now, we're in a discussion mode, and we need to vote on this, the motion that's on the floor. You have one more?
Well, I'd like to just add in response to Annie is that a lot of the problems that we've had over the last year has been from a lack of governance, proper governance. And so I think that's why I know from being a board member since March that I think the board really needs people with experience with governance and meetings. So,
Okay. Joni, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. I would like to just say that given the setbacks that Sue has been at every meeting, she has been, and that's definitely true, but at every meeting she has been there in support of Lindsay Barnes, the former director. And given the fact that litigation is still very much an ominous threat on the horizon for the library, I feel like Sue's appointment would put us as a board and as a town in jeopardy, because if the town should come to being in a lawsuit, Sue's direct connection to Lindsay Barnes is a real financial liability for us, and that is what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything, comment before we vote on this?
I'd like to.
Irregardless of who gets appointed to the board, and irregardless of what has happened and what may or may not happen, someone's going to get voted in March, and that's going to be who it is, no matter what has happened or what anybody has felt or feels. So I just want to put that out there because we're less than 2 months from the March election. So that's whoever gets elected, that's who's elected. Whether it be the young lady sitting right in front of the owl, they can see really well, or whether it's Sue. So a decision needs to be made based on who the board feels is the best person for the job, knowing that in March, it may or may not be that person. And there will be nobody will have a choice in the matter of whoever gets elected. That's the voters.
Thank you
So
for that.
I just want to say that.
And Deb, I have a question for Deb. It is 2 of the library board positions that are going to be elected in March, correct? Is it 2 or is it 3? 2, okay.
2 positions are available. Okay, Mark. So this is only to finish out until the next election.
So
regardless
honestly,
of
it's
either
somebody
one.
who will go to what, 1 meeting?
Yeah.
2
Two
meetings.
meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second on the table?
Yeah,
too?
that was,
Yes.
I had
So
seconded.
there's a motion and a second on the table.
There's motion on the second. Martha?
I would like to speak in support of Annie Nash, just as a perspective that experiences on other boards may not be the only qualification that you look at when you make this decision. And I would just like to read the vision of the Pawlet Public Library. Pawlet Public Library is an essential player in sustaining and celebrating a vibrant, revitalized, and resilient community. The mission of the Pawlet Public Library is to provide a leadership role in unifying the community through shared resources and meaningful experiences for all generations. I think someone like Annie Nash could take this vision and mission and move forward with it in a way that is not going to cause controversy in town. We've had so much of that, and we're ready to go in another direction. So I would just hope you would take that into consideration in your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we,
I just want to sort of echo what Martha says. I think it's going to be a brief time for whoever before the election, but it would be nice to have someone to bring a new and positive attitude. So I would appreciate that.
I do have my letter of intent, and I would be happy.
I've shared it with everyone.
You've already read it?
Everyone on the board has had that. But right now, we have a motion on the floor that we need to deal with. And so, if no more discussion, all in favor of appointing Sue Laporte to finish the term until March?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna abstain. I just don't feel comfortable with it, and it's nothing against Sue. I just feel that the unbiased, and I think you just have your own agenda, and I just don't want to disrupt things before the election. I think that things
We haven't talked about it with each other though at all.
right.
So there's no,
So I just, at this point, I don't feel comfortable
okay.
agreeing to it.
2 is not a majority.
You're 3.
Right,
Yes or
so
no?
it's a third vote for me.
It's up to you.
There's many things that go into this decision, but I'm going to vote to appoint Sue to finish the term. That's 3 to 4.
And I would just put the reminder out that petitions for nominating to be on the ballot are due at the date that I said earlier, January 27th. So if you would like to get your petition going, the time to do it is right now.
Yes.
And Sue as well.
Court as well.
Thank you.
I have a question for,
my question is that how many petitions can a person sign for the open trustee?
Only one per position.
Per open seat,
Right.
correct?
So,
Yep.
So Deb, if there's two open spots for the library, can a person sign two petitions?
Yes.
Say that again, Mike?
There's two open spots for the library trustee. Can a person sign two petitions? The same person sign two petitions?
Right now, there are two positions that are with people that have been appointed as of the vote that you took tonight.
Right.
So both of those terms, I believe, without having the town report in front of me, both of those terms are expiring in March of '25.
Right.
So there's two open spots and two petitions that will need to be submitted. So two different candidates. One, obviously, one of the people that are currently on the board prior to Sue's appointment tonight is one of the positions that is up for re-election. So she would have to also be generating a petition if she was deciding to run. So you could have, as of tonight, you could have at least 3 people running for 2 positions.
Okay.
And yes,
but you
Julie was asking
the
if
question-
someone sign both petitions.
The question that we're
The
asking
state
is-
did eliminate the they used to have a policy in place where you couldn't sign more petitions for the number of people that were running. So, like, if there were 3 people running, it used to be that you couldn't sign all 3 petitions. That is not the case anymore. You can sign as many petitions as you like.
All right.
So if 5 people run, we can sign all 5 petitions.
Really?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you
I
very
think
much
that's
for
very-
clarification.
That's very democratic. I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I think I've been breaking that rule all along.
Sign everybody's petition.
everybody's petition.
Good question.
Any more questions? Okay, so now the next on the agenda is municipal ethics liaison. So,
Do you want, are you looking at me like you
yeah,
want me
yeah,
to
let's
talk
look
about
like-
that? I know that
I'll
look.
answer that.
I'm just
yeah,
like, look down.
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, well, you know, I'm glad you asked. I would be so good at
Bring
the
it
library.
right up. I gotta see it.
Did you see it?
I did see it, yeah.
Okay.
And I was aware of this new law.
Right.
So somebody from the town has to get training in ethics.
And
All right.
Did it necessarily say that it had to be a select board member or just
It can
somebody
be,
from the?
I think it was an employee or a select board member. Most towns will send their town manager, but we don't have one.
Right.
And so just to bring everybody up to speed, the Vermont State Ethics Commission sent out an email on Monday reaching out that pursuant to Act 171, municipalities are required to appoint an ethics liaison to serve as a point of contact with the State Ethics Commission. Section 24 VSA 1995E states each municipality acting through its legislative body shall designate an employee as its liaison to the State Ethics Commission. If a municipality does not have any employees, the legislative body shall designate one of its members as its liaison to the State Ethics Commission. The requirement went into effect on January 1st of 2025. Once we have appointed our ethics liaison, please reach out to Peggy with her contact information. With the liaison's name and contact info, we will add them to our list for future communications from the Ethics Commission. If you have already done so, you may ignore this email.
And I believe, I read something from VLCT last year at some time, that there are a couple other things the municipality will have to do based on this new law, which is, I think we're gonna have to post a code of ethics.
Which I thought
We have one, but I don't know if it's posted on our website.
It is.
There's something about, or it's possible that the state code of ethics has to also be there. It was
So,
confusing.
This says, this act establishes a statewide municipal code of ethics, and it allows the State Ethics Commission to provide municipalities with free training and advisory services. It also requires municipalities to investigate and record ethics complaints, which can be filed either with the municipality or with the Ethics Commission. To appoint an ethics liaison, an existing employee or select board member will receive complaints and serve as a point of contact for the Ethics Commission and for municipal officers to complete a free basic ethics training, which is available through the Ethics Commission's website. The primary purpose of this bill is to set minimum statewide standards while allowing municipalities to adopt supplemental or maintain existing ethics policies that do not conflict with the statewide code, and develop individualized policies and procedures related to complaint investigation and tracking. Many municipalities may already have such policies or procedures in place. So we do have one which was adopted. We utilized the state standard.
Right.
So I think that part, so pretty much it's allowing for a designated point person for people to, you're all looking at me like
It
that.
shouldn't take you long.
And you're so knowledgeable already on it.
I think Tom should do it.
Oh,
Because you're the newest person on the select board.
Rich isn't here.
I wouldn't do that to him either.
Pretty sure Nancy just volunteered too.
No, I said, I already have a complaint file that's like this big, so.
I mean, I guess I just would like to know a little bit more about, I will not say anything more other than I'd like to know more about what is required.
Do you think we could drag this out until after the March meeting?
Oh, why?
When we appoint all the rest of everybody after the new board?
Oh.
Probably not, because it became a
It must
requirement as
be-
of this January 1st.
It must be appointed within 30 days of January 1st. So that, if my math serves me correctly, is 30 days.
Before March.
With my serious hat on.
Yeah.
With my serious hat on, I kind of think that if we're going to have an ethics liaison, it should be our board chair. And I'm sorry, Mike, but the thing is, I don't think anyone in town questions your ethics. You have been very middle of the road on things and not taken one side or another on a lot of stuff. That's, and I know you run the meetings really well. And so if I'm thinking about which board member I feel like most people in town would be comfortable coming to with an issue, it might not be me, it might not be Rich, and honestly, it might not be Kristen, but I think they would feel more comfortable coming to you. I mean, some of us are pretty, it might not be, we're pretty opinionated about some things.
I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
you're really good at being polite and badger at the same time. That's awesome. I'm very impressed.
That's just my opinion.
Excuse me, Jennifer just sent a message. She says she's not sure she qualifies, but she is interested in learning more about the ethics liaison position.
Oh, is she a town employee?
Yes.
Technically?
No.
Oh,
She's
health
appointed.
inspector.
It must be an employee or a board member. Unfortunately. Jennifer, I'm sad to say that.
We have one more meeting before the deadline, right?
Hire her for something.
Perfect.
Doesn't she get paid enough?
21. Frank?
You might be
Frank.
able
Y'all need me.
to meet the deadline, you might be able to convince somebody to at least entertain the position on an interim basis.
We have one more meeting before the deadline, the end of 30 days from January 1st, right?
Well,
Perfect.
if you got somebody that's interested, that's a good start.
So okay, we'll talk more. You and I could talk a little bit more about it.
See, my ethics.
No, you said that you felt it was necessary to get more information.
Oh, yeah, no, I think,
I just want to know.
not that my opinion matters from
It
a
does.
board perspective, but I agree with Jessica in that I think that, in all seriousness, I do feel like you do a wonderful job. And I think that but I also support my own statement from earlier, which is that I would like to learn more about what is included. They say that there's trainings involved and that this person is going to be the person that local ethics complaints will come to, and understanding what it is that needs to be done with those. And I just feel like before anybody in good spirit, I think that anybody that is appointed that role, it's only fair that there's a thorough understanding of what they're getting themselves into. Just because you'd hate to have somebody sign up for something and then find themselves not confident in fulfilling it, so. We will learn more about it and put it on the agenda for our next meeting. How
Great,
about that?
thank you. Jennifer, did you have something else to add, or?
I can't hear everything you're saying, you're gonna look into it and make a decision later, is that what you're saying?
At the next meeting, yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're gonna do some more research and see, and go from there.
Does the health officer count me as an employee?
That's one of the things we'll find out.
Yeah, you can let me know.
Thank you.
Any other new business? What is this property schedule report? Oh, that's all the insurance stuff?
Hi, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
do
put
it.
all of that together so long ago that I forgot that I had put it there.
Okay.
But yes, that is the schedule of insurance, property and equipment and stuff, and I just wanted someone to like casually look through it and make sure that there wasn't anything glaringly obviously wrong.
Okay.
Take a few minutes.
Oh, we even have fire department. Well, that's a good start right there. It gives us all the years of all the equipment.
Right, and some of it I don't think is still
Right.
on there.
2004 Ford.
Yeah,
Right.
that's good enough.
Okay, so we can look at
That's
this.
what I thought too.
Before the next meeting?
Do you have this, Julie, that you could send us all electronically so that we could kind of cruise through it before the next meeting?
Yeah.
That would be much handier for me.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we'll go through it. We'll see if there's stuff that we need to hoe off or anything like that. But the equipment page there lists all the town equipment. We should be able to pull that information off. And it looks like there's several pieces of equipment that are no longer belong to the town. So we'll look through that. Thank you.
You bet.
No other new business? Public comment. Frank?
Relative.
Oh, Lauren.
Lori?
I'm sorry.
I want my own.
Yeah.
The question on the cameras for the road in West Pawlet is something that wasn't discussed tonight. Was there more information on that, A? And B, you got a copy of the email, probably, and Jessica, on the free internet. It's difficult to talk to these people, and I found somebody who was involved with the West Pawlet portion of the layout, and a fellow that was managing that or something, and a customer service person. It was by a miracle that I talked to this person. She might have been in Maine, and so the email address has been, your email address in the town has been given to that person, so that you, and Julie's, so that maybe an arrangement can be made for this installation of the free internet that was apparently promised to us. Okay, so that's it for that. The rail trail. The rail trail still has an opening for an alternate representative to be on the advisory council, and we don't own the property, V-Trans does, so it just meets, and it's being run essentially out of Rutland Regional Planning Commission. So if anybody's interested in being on the Rail Trail Advisory Council, there's a number of openings on that as well.
Any other public comment?
I do have a question for the person who brought this up under old business, but the cameras, I never saw an email.
Because there was not one.
Okay.
There's no update for this meeting tonight. Mark, so you all have
Have an email.
and so Mark is invited to come to a meeting to present it, and that's where we left it.
Okay.
So that has not happened this evening. So that's where we're at with that. So you've got the numbers, and then we're coordinating with Mark to get him to come and present and share in real time what his offerings are.
Should it be set him up to come next meeting?
I would
I'll
think
see
so.
if he's, yeah.
See if he's
I'll-
available, that
yeah,
would be really.
I'm sure he would be. He has suggested a Google Meet meeting, and I'm seeing if he can participate in a Zoom, or if he'd like to just come down and talk in person. So, my intentions will be to get that set up for the next meeting. Great.
Go ahead, Lou. Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.